Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today we are going to create some black butterflies, but they are going to be in rainbows using Copic coloring. So I am actually going to do a striped background using the chisel end of my Copic markers. I'm literally just creating stripes across the panel, and then I'm going to stamp on top of it. Now I did select quite a few more colors than I normally would to do a rainbow background like this. Because I didn't want to have to blend, but I wanted there to be a difference, a subtle difference in between the colors. And probably this is the only one that I wish I'd have gone a little bit lighter and a little bit darker on, was the yellow green. I wish I'd have had two more of those. However, other than that, I was pretty happy with how this turned out. And after it dried, it looks really amazing. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm not doing any blending. This is a super simple way to create a rainbow across the panel. I'm just taking the chisel end and drawing a straight line across the panel with the chisel flat to the paper. That's it. That's all I'm doing. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of Neenah Solar White. It is the 80-pound version. I don't Copic color on the 110-pound version because it actually absorbs more ink than the 80-pound version does, which means that you use more ink. So it's actually more expensive to color on the 110-pound version. I also don't blend. It doesn't blend as well for me. Everybody has different likes and dislikes for their Copic coloring. I really like the Neenah Solar White 80-pound version for my Copic coloring. I've tried marker papers. I've actually tried several different things, and I still really like the Neenah. It blends well. It doesn't absorb a ton of ink in, to blend my colors together and that kind of thing. So that's where I am on that. And as you can see already, the top part, you can see the difference in the blues and the purples and stuff that I've already put down, what the difference in those color ranges are already just by it drying. So I did take this panel and walk around with it in my hand for a few minutes to make sure that all the colors were dry. And then I went ahead and I put this in my MISTI. This is my standard size MISTI, and I'm going to stamp these butterflies in black dye ink first. You could use pigment ink as well, like use VersaFine Onyx Black ink, or what's the other one? It's Versa something. It's by the same people that make the VersaFine inks. They have the clear inks, there we go, that are pigment inks. I just grabbed my dye ink because it's really black, and I really wanted that depth. So I just stamped this twice. I stamped a couple times for the bottom of one of the butterflies, and then the very bottom butterfly there. Just needed a touch more ink, so I stamped that. The key to this, so you don't mess up your beautiful panel that took you a minute or two to do that, is to make sure that, of course, that panel is in the same exact place every single time that you stamp on it. So make sure that it's in that bottom corner, and I always, really try to make sure that it's there, and that's where I'm going with that. So then I stamped over top of this with Versamark ink, and then I'm just going to put clear embossing powder over that. Now, you could have also stamped this in Versamark ink and used black embossing powder. That's also an option to do this with, but I really like the look of the clear over top of the black ink. It's just something about it that I like for this particular project. If I'm doing black on white cardstock, I prefer black embossing powder. It looks different, and try it out. Try stamping in black ink, and then stamp in Versamark ink, and stamp in VersaFine ink, and do clear and black embossing powder, and see what those differences are. If you want something to be like solid black, then do black VersaFine ink with black embossing powder over top of it. Yeah, that's really, really dark. It's really pretty too. So there's a lot of different ways that you can achieve that depth in your stamping and in your images like this. And I'm just showing you one way and talking you through several other options that you have there. More than anything, more people will have black ink, black dye ink and Versamark ink than they would pigment inks. So that's why I also did it this way. That's more likely what you're going to have in your crafty stash. If you need to pull apart your dyes, I always have a pair of snips on hand. I have actually magnetized my snips by storing them on a magnet. That way when I snip off one of those itty bitty teeny tiny little metal pieces, it doesn't fly across the room necessarily, and I can just bang it on the edge of my trash can to knock that piece off. I actually magnetized it so that they would stick a little better to it, and I wouldn't have to worry about my dog or my cat or me getting one of those little pieces of metal on the bottom of my foot. So I'm die cutting each of the butterflies out using the coordinating die here, and it's amazing the difference in how these look once you cut them out. All of a sudden you have these beautiful butterflies that were just kind of they were okay on that rainbow panel, but now that you've cut them out, they look amazing. So the other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm taking another stamp set that is by Catherine Pooler. I don't think I mentioned this. I'm using Happy Butterflies and Be Kind. And they're both Catherine Pooler stamp sets, and I'm using one of the larger stamps out of the Be Kind stamp set, and it's like an eclectic little collection of stamps that's really, really cute, and it has flowers and some bees and buzzy little lines and that kind of stuff, and it's really, really cute. Well, I'm using the largest one out of that to create a background here, and I'm just randomly stamping on the background. The ink that I'm using to create the background is Sea Glass by Altenew. And then I'm just going to pop up all of our little butterflies on the front here. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment on black cardstock with white embossing powder. And then I'm going to add some little gold pearls across the top of it as my accent. So this card is super, super simple. Don't forget to head back over to my blog and check out the previous week's posts, because I am on day 8 of 30 days of cards in the month of June. Next month we are going to do Christmas in July and check out some Christmas cards. I'm also here in the next week. I will be doing some masculine cards as well, because Father's Day is coming up, so we'll take a look at some masculine cards that you can make. And they'll probably be like last minute, I need inspiration, I don't know what to do, kind of cards. And take a look at those. And then also don't forget that I have some classes that you can take a look at. The Card Making 101, really quick course in all the things that you need to know to get started in card making. Answer a lot of those questions, especially about like ink and paper and that kind of stuff. And then there's the Card Makers Society. That is a monthly membership program that I have that will get you started in card making, answer all of those same questions, but give you monthly inspiration, a group to chat with that is solely dedicated to card making. So check that out. All the links for that are below in the description. Quick tip, and I mentioned this the other day too, and when you get those fuzzy edges on your paper, take a rough paper towel and rub the fuzzy edges off. They go away, no problem. Just take a kind of a rough paper towel and do it. I have black, and no matter what brand of black I have ever used, because I've used several different brands of black, but for some reason, black cardstock and Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, I don't care how sharp my blade is, I don't care what paper trimmer I use, it gets fuzzies on it. So that's where I was like trying to figure out how to get rid of the fuzzies when I knew that the blade was sharp. That's where that came from, was I figured that out. So there's my tip for for you there. Now, I'm just finishing up my card. I'm just using some skinny foam tape. The best deal in foam tape in the world is over on scrapbook.com. They have a million different kinds. It is easy release. It is flexible enough to be able to do like your shaker cards, like take this particular kind of foam tape that's the skinny little strips of it. All of it's the same thickness, so you can mix and match it. So you can put this around like the edge of your shaker card and then fill in the rest of it with, because this bends so easy. You take the release paper off of it, it bends so easy in a circle that you could wrap it around whatever you needed to. It's absolutely amazing stuff. And it's a really good price point on it. So the release paper comes off easy. It has really good adhesion. And I was a big, huge Scotch foam tape person. And this is such a better deal than that. So I really do like it. Now, the pearls that I'm using, I will be really very honest with you, are from a card kit. And I think they were from a Spellbinders card kit that I've had for a while. And I tend to collect these kinds of things and forget that I have them. And then I'll pull them out and use them. But I did find some gold pearls over on scrapbook.com, and there's some it was silver, black, and gold, I think, are the colors that are in the set. So they would actually come in very, very, very handy. I keep looking for pearls. If you have any suggestions of where to get like these kinds of pearls from, I can't find them anywhere, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, if everybody's just bought them up. So if you have any suggestions for that, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss a single video over, especially for the next couple months, because we're going to be doing so many cards. And don't forget to head over to the blog and check out more information over there as well. I did a card a couple days, and for the past 2 days have been inspired by songs. Those are really cool cards, so check those out. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing day.